don't prepare. We can't prepare. Like, we
No.
have no idea what's coming up.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
So
your field is a lot different from ours. Now, within the game, right, there's certain things that you can prepare for, but then there's certain things that you just got to be able to react to. I think you guys operate in that space, the reaction space. I guess for you, the only preparation would be understanding like maybe what's supposed to happen.
you also are the founder of Stat Financial,
Hmm.
and now you're partnering with
Athlete
Athlete
Alliance.
Alliance.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what's so amazing about that is I don't know if you can truly appreciate how much you've already accomplished just, from what you've done as an athlete, just getting to where you got to, you just getting into the NFL and then being able to have a 10-year career. And then now just, you don't even recognize, like, you're just like one achievement after the other. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not even something you're stopping to say, you know what, I've done good. Like, I can rest. Like, this
Yeah.
is all right.
Yeah, we can never rest on our laurels. Like at the end of the day, if God gives me breath, then I have to create. We were put on this planet to serve, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's crazy to hear people talk about like the things that I've done because I'm not focused on the thing. I'm not running around here like, yeah, I did this, I did that. I'm always looking at how can I serve more people. And if you look at the business structure of what God has given me to build, it all operates in the service space. Whether that's the Stat Financial, where we're helping athletes on the insurance and annuity side, whether that's the Athlete Alliance, where we're pairing brand awareness, lifestyle coaching, as well as financial empowerment, right? Origin Network. I love that's my baby, right? Because with that one, it's about being able to pair, your business owners, your corporate executives, your entrepreneurs with your athlete and athlete entrepreneurs, and then taking two worlds and then plugging them in together. And there's some cool things that have happened, and we've gotten great feedback and stories from people. Me, oh, I met so and so, and even though he plays with this professional team, he's interested in technology. So he's meeting the CEO of of redesign, right? So it's like that's I get excited about that, and then you take all of these experiences and then you drop them in some books, and now I find myself a three-time author. So it's I just truly believe that we have the ability to do whatever it is that we want if we put our mind to it. And so I'm not stopping here. I'm pretty sure I'll get into something else after all of this other stuff is built out.
But I think it takes tremendous, discipline
Mm.
um, and effort and persistence. That's another thing I know you talk about a lot
Yeah.
to accomplish these things,
Mm.
because it's not easy to write a book, and you've written three.
Yeah.
So I have trouble writing my posts.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Tell us about. Also, I think the other thing you talk about that I really like is identity.
So when I got out of the NFL, one of the things that I struggled with was the transitional phase, right? Like people are coming to you all the time, right? Because you have money, you got a name behind you, and all of that stuff. And so they're like, "Hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good." But then I had to sit down and realize, like, okay, well, first of all, who am I? Whose am I? And what do I want to like? Who do I want to serve? And how do I want to help? Like when I had to sit down and ask myself those questions, I came to find out that all of these different quote unquote opportunities, they were opportunities, they were just not for me. And so as I started talking to some of my other NFL buddies that were on the way out or they were already done, we all had the same issue. And what we come to find is that, when you start off as a child prodigy, as an athlete, like everybody has your life mapped out, right? So the delegation factor is real, it's heavy, right? You don't worry about that, you just take care of this. You don't worry about those things, we got it, right? Even in the school system and the whole, joke about athletes and being passed along and those type of things, I was reluctant because I don't like taking a lot of tests. And so, but I did it. And that was the best decision that I could have ever made because I had come to find out this is where wealth starts. It starts in this space, right? And so that's when I coined the term foundational financial leverage. From there, moved from Houston to Dallas. met a couple of people, and just started networking, and just meeting new people and hearing about new things. And then I read an article about the young Jewish professionals, YJP in New York, and how they would have like people would pay like $30,000 to $50,000 just to go to their networking events. I'm like, that's crazy. But they were walking out with one, two, three, maybe even $30 million deals. And I said, okay, how do we take that concept, maybe not that price tag, but that concept, and add enough level of value to where the people that I've met and my athletes would want to come? And so you connect with different people. They have ideas. You know about Devin. Shout out to my girl Devin Johnson. She does a lot for us at the company. And me and Bob Curran are the founders of that. And we just were like, well, let's bring our networks together. Let's create the exclusivity aspect of it and only invite people instead of allowing them to gain tickets. It worked. And so we've done 3 of them thus far. We do them once a quarter, and we've grown. We started, it was probably about 30 people. Now we're going to be well over 100 people. And the guy that I was talking to last week at an event that I was at, he was like, man, it took us like 2.5 years just to get to 250. I'm like, I don't think it's going to take us that long.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how Origin came about. And then from there, again, meeting more people, you sit down and you talk to other thought processes and minds of a group, and we start talking about the issue about athletes. So all of the things that we talked about, right? 78% of them are broke between 2 to 12 years. The divorce rate of athletes is around 60 to 80%, which is higher than the national average of divorce in America. So not only are you losing money, you're losing family. To me, that's a problem, right? And so once we started looking at these particular things, we started figuring out, okay, how do we address this? And we created a conglomerate. And so that's where the Athlete Alliance came from. So it's an alliance of different people. So we have, branding and marketing. We have emotional intelligence psychologists. Emotional intelligence doctors for mental health awareness. We're connected to different businesses that teach you how to start a business and scale it from the ground up and get it ready to be IPO'd. So there's different connections that we've made that now we have this platform so that if you're the athlete that's coming from high school or from college or from professionally, there's a platform out here that can help you in every aspect of your life. And that's what the Athlete Alliance was. So my company, Stat, plays on the insurance, annuities, and then the alternative investment aspect of that. Those are those. I can talk about more stuff. You guys taught me, but I go on because I'm excited about this stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think
Yeah.
that's great work.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think what else I really enjoy seeing is you have so much. Your faith is a very important
Yeah.
aspect of your vision and purpose.
Yeah. No, that comes from Mary Lemons. That's Mama. And so, I piggybacked on her faith until I found something for myself. And then just going through persevering and going through adversity time and time again, and then taking on the thought process that I've already conquered this. I'm more than a conqueror. Um, it continues to increase your faith. And what I've come to find out is um, many people avoid pain, and that's a problem because what happens is that your potential now wrestles in the shadows of obscurity. You have to, I always say, in order to gain your fame, you have to go through your pain. And pain is an acronym for perseverance, alignment, innovation, and new creation. Fame is an acronym for financial autonomy for maximum empowerment. Those two coexist with one another. They're akin to one another. You have to go through these things before you can find any type of financial understanding. And the reason why I moved to the financial space is because the Bible tells us that surely money answereth all things. So if there's a problem that you have, more than likely it's financially related. I'm not saying that that's all your problems, but I'm saying if you had money, then whatever that problem is would probably be fixed. And so if the government is going to focus on extracting income from the patrons of this place, then let us focus on not only just with the athletes, right, but eventually we'll move on and take this system and make it more feasible for those that are not making 50 to $30 million a year. I don't care how great something is. If it's not plugged into the source, it won't work, right? Like we sat here and dealt with some issues, right, with getting the mics and everything going, but like these lights or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like it has to be plugged into a source, and I just believe that many people are going out and they're doing what everybody else is saying, and nobody's sitting down and saying, okay, wait a minute, where do I come from? Who am I? And what do I believe in? What are my principles? What are my values? What do I stand on? Right? What lies have I been telling myself? Right? One of the things that I talk about in the book is the pitfall of trying. Right? People say, I'm going to try. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. The reason people say I'm going to try is because they're not committed. And even in my language, I'm careful not to use the word choice as opposed to decide. So the Latin root for the word decide is desirde. Sirde means to cut, and de means off or from. So it literally means you're cutting off any other solution outside of the one that aligns with your purpose. That is a decision, right? Like I don't get to choose to take care of my children and my family. Like I've decided that that's something that I have to do. And so what happens is that when you're committed like that, then it allows you to carry on regardless of what life is going to throw at you. Because life be lifing, Doc. I don't know if you know this. Life be lifing.
Yeah.
But if you understand whose you are and who you are, then you understand that you're more than a conqueror. So whatever that situation is, you've already overcome it. Now that's the faith aspect. The work aspect deals with going through that situation. And sometimes you might have to sit in that situation for a while in order for God to remove the impurities of the gold that you are, right? And if gold finds its value from the impurities being removed from it, that's when it elevates in value. So there might be something that's in you that God can't use that if he's getting ready to elevate you to the next level. And so that might be the reason why you're in that fire, right? And as gold is tried in the fire, so are acceptable people in the furnace of adversity. That's how you become more. And so don't run from that. That's what I would say.
Awesome. That's amazing. No, thank you for that. I love it.
Good. You got things going on.
Yeah, I got things going on.
So what if I flip the script and I start interviewing the interviewee? Like, talk to us about the private equity for the physicians.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is it's similar but much smaller than what you're doing. I mean, physicians also, I think they spend too much and they don't save enough. They don't plan, and they oftentimes, hire others to manage their finances.
Yeah,
Partly because they're not interested in that aspect of life, and
that's crazy.
Sometimes
They're just like athletes.
Yeah, it just we make a lot less money, but yeah, it's a lot the same kind of. I think physicians, really go into it thinking I'm going to practice science and practice medicine and take care of patients. That's their motivation. So to get them to shift and really learn about finances and investing and how to preserve their wealth, so they can, look forward to a decent retirement and cut back when they need to, because obviously we have a much longer career, so that's helpful. Yeah. But I think it's similar in that, we go from earning $35,000 to, 200 something or 300 something. And then you're never been given the financial literacy in that entire process. Yeah. And so, yeah, they get in a lot of trouble too.
So are they paid on W-4s?
W-2s.
W-2s? Mm-hmm. Wow. So
yeah,
the government loves physicians.
Yeah, and so the more money they make, the more taxes they pay, right? Yeah. So that's another big problem, that now 80% of physicians are employed as W-2. Yeah.
Wow.
So about, many, many years ago, it was more you had your own practice and you were a business owner. Now it's, you're an employee.
So why did that shift?
I think because of the corporatization of medicine, it just became bigger, and these corporations come in and help manage the organization and the practice. Mm-hmm. And in a way I think we abdicated our own role, right? Because as physicians, again, like, we didn't want to do the management. We didn't want to do the business. So if someone came in and said, hey, we'll do that for you, we thought, hey, good idea, go ahead. I just want to be a doctor.
Wow. So. That is wow, the similarities are crazy.
Yeah, that's why it struck me so much
Yeah.
when I saw these posts. I was like, that's exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same psychology. It's just different numbers, but
Mm-hmm.
same psychology.
Yeah.
And so it's still very, I think financial literacy really should be in high school. You know,
Yeah.
everybody needs to learn whether you make a little money or a lot of money. And that's what's interesting, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not about income. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you still need to understand how to manage your finances. And because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you make and how much you spend and how much material objects you can, obtain. It's like what you said, it's how to be wise.
Yeah.
And because wealth is not income.
Mm-mm.
Wealth and income are not the same thing.
So, wow, I've learned so much just within that conversation. So on the physician side, you guys are doing what the athletes do, but for a longer period of time. Yeah, see, that's even dangerous because that's the one thing you can't get back. See, for an athlete, if you're 24, 25, 26 years old and you're retired and then all the money goes away, yeah, that sucks, right? Like the lifestyle's not there. What do I do? The figuring out the exploration phase of the other part of your life is quite frankly, it's hell, right? It is. It can be if you're not prepared, right? But you're 25.
Exactly.
That's a whole different aspect and beast that you guys deal with because now it's like, wait a minute, I'm 60,
55.
55, 60 years
Right,
old, and I've been
exactly.
doing this for 40 years. And now I'm looking at, I didn't put back and put this money into things that would help me moving forward.
Yeah.
And so now here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do something. We got to do a.
I mean, and they have, they obviously save for retirement and things, but it's not enough. And also, there's no building of something outside of medicine and creating a business or creating passive income and things like that. So it's a real detriment to them.
When you say they save for retirement, what vehicles are they saving in?
They're saving in 401ks.
They're not saving for retirement.
So it's not adequate.
Can we inform the people about 401ks and their original practice? Like
Please
what they
do. Yes, that's so important.
All right.
Yeah.
So the person that is called the father of the 401k, his name was Ted Benner. And he wrote a nice book. It's called the 501k plan, right? So you should take a look at that. But when he originally came up with this strategy, it wasn't for a retirement vehicle. It was a way to get the employees to be able to understand how to invest in the stock market. He never intended, and he says this, he's still alive. And I watched the interview and I verbally heard him say from his mouth, it was never intended to be a retirement plan. There used to be pension plans. So like my grandparents, they had pensions, right? And what it was it put the business on the hook to be able to take care of, the patron that was getting ready to retire. You get the gold watch and you get the pension, right? That's why go to school, learn, get a good job. That's where that came from, right? Because once you do that, the jobs are going to take care of you. When you introduce the 401k, now it put the onus on the individual to take care of their own retirement. And then the government came in, snatched the program, and started putting tax incentives on the businesses to be able to say, hey, if you get these people to participate in our scheme, then we'll give you tax benefits and you can match them to be able to force them, well, not force them, but you can match them to be able to incentivize for them to get in it as well.
Exactly.
So like when you look at the 401k, it's like, I look at it from a farmer standpoint. All right, so you have seeds, and then these seeds produce what? A harvest. So would I rather be taxed on the seed or the harvest?
Exactly.
And so what's happening is that they want your money to go in there, grow tax deferred. So that way, when you do become 50 years old and you've saved $3 million, and now you're trying to take that stream, they can bust you over the head with it now because now it's grown tax deferred, and whatever you take out it's taxable. So listen. Please do a panel and let me speak on it for the physicians.
Please do. No, and I think that's what's so, that's the problem because financial advisors come in and tell you to put money in your retirement accounts.
Of course they do.
And all your excess income, they're like, hey, do you want to pay taxes on it or you want to put it in your 401k or your IRA or whatever? And you're just moving all this money into deferred accounts.
Yeah.
which I think is the worst advice ever.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's growing tax deferred. I would have much rather paid tax on this as a resident
Mm-hmm.
and then, had something tax free
Yeah.
on the end. And they don't really teach you anything outside of the stock market. Financial planners are mostly asking you to put money into the stock market, and that I think is also not always the best answer.
It's a streamline. You got to think about it. Like they're licensed, like Series 6, Series 7, all of those are governmental entities, right? So they're licensed to learn how to get people to move into that space. And so most financial advisors, what I've come to find out through research and then actually talking to guys that have been in the industry for years, um, oh man, it just down. Thank you, Lord. If you guys want to know about the financial advisory space, go get my man. Shout out to my man Ed Butowski, hook him, former Longhorn. But go get my man Ed Butowski's book, Wealth Mismanagement. So he was a financial advisor for years. In the forward, he goes in on the industry about financial advisors, the things that they know. They push products, right? The people that manage your portfolio are what they're called portfolio managers. And so there's a guy that I know that works with New York Life, and he's been in the industry for years. And I learned it from him. He's like, most financial advisors don't even manage the portfolio. He does, obviously, right? And there's good financial advisors out there, but if you're anybody that just thinks that your thing is the thing, I'll tell people all day, run from those people. Like, I don't think the thing that we do is just the only thing that you should do. I think that you should do it, but I don't think that it's the only thing that you should do. And people have to start self-educating themselves on finance. I find it interesting and intriguing. Actually, I find it rich, since we're talking about money, that the thing that people struggle with the most is the thing that they actually study the least. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. And so, Wealth Mismanagement, go get that book by Ed Butowski. Learn about that. For those physicians out there, I know you guys just want to be physicians, right? Just like ball players just want to play ball, but we can't just be one thing. We have to look at different aspects of our lives and strengthen those areas as well. At least enough to the point to where if we hire somebody to take those things over, then we know exactly what we want our ecos, economics, right? The rudiment word being ecos, our home about finances to be. If you just say, here, take my money and do something with it, like, you're going to find out that don't work well
Yeah.
on the back end.
No, and I think what you said also on another post I saw for you is that if someone's making money off of your ignorance,
Oh, yeah.
probably not going to give you good advice.
No. It's hey, trust me, I got you. No, listen, I trust you as far as I can throw you. I trust no man, right? You teach me what you know, and then we'll sit down together and I'll tell you what I want my financial future to look like. They work for you. The advisors work for you. It's not the other way around. And so plan, be diligent. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways. Having no master or guide, gathers her food in the summer and gathers the food in the winter. Meaning what? Or gather the food in the summer to prepare for the winter. Meaning what? Preparation. Preparation. You got to be prepared, especially now. I hope people are seeing what's going on. They better start looking if they're not.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Preparation, and then, like you said, it's not about one product. Like, for instance, I invest in real estate. I don't tell people that everybody should invest in real estate or that it's the thing, but you've got to get educated.
Yes.
And that's my main message, is really just get educated about these different things and get smart, and don't just expect someone else to manage it for you. That's not going to work.
I'll ask you this question. What do you believe a jeopardizing investment is? And
I
from
guess
an investment
any
standpoint.
kind of very high risk investment, maybe oil and gas, maybe something crazy.
Okay, so okay, there you go, right? So people have that. People have that thought process of a jeopardizing investment. I heard this and I believe it wholeheartedly. I believe a jeopardizing investment is anything that you don't have wisdom about.
Absolutely, and that is so true. I'm glad you got me on that one. Because I think every vehicle has a purpose.
Yep.
And it's about understanding that vehicle. It's just like, whether you're going to use a chair or use a table. They've got different purposes.
Correct.
It's not like one is wrong or right. It's just they have a different function, and that's what's important. Like I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Listen. When I heard that, I was like, "Got me. You got me." I was like, because you'll say somebody. I heard somebody say gambling, right? Like, gambling, that's a risk. Not if you're good at it, right? You're a professional. I got a buddy of mine. Shout out to my man Dewante Alexander. His birthday and my birthday are literally we were born the same day, the same year, hours apart. And he was my downstairs neighbor in Houston.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we hung out all the time. But he's a professional poker player. So for him, gambling is not a jeopardizing investment. It's the way he lives, right? And so a lot of people, I would want them, if I could leave the people with anything, it's get wisdom and get understanding. If you understand those two principles, wisdom and understanding, that then allows you to formulate and apply knowledge. And that, from what I've seen, what I've experienced, and what I've learned, the wise will always rule over the foolish. So if you don't want to be a slave to wise people, then I suggest you become one.
Absolutely. And I have to make a point for health since I'm a doctor.
Listen, that's extremely important.
Because I was talking to someone about this that it's a lot like your health, wealth.
Yes.
Because unless you're actively involved in your own health, you can't be healthy. You just go to a doctor and say, "Hey, fix my heart." It's not going to work. Like, the doctor can only do so much because the doctor has certain vehicles, like they've got medication, or they'll tell you to exercise, or there might be surgery. There are these things you can do. But you've got to know that you've got to be an active participant. You've got to get educated about your illness and take the necessary steps, because without your active involvement, that doctor can't do anything for you.
Wow. I'm gonna show you how my mind works listening to you. First and foremost, I agree with everything that you said, because without health, who cares about how much money you make, right? So health is wealth. What if we did a get together, like a panel thing, right, where we invited athletes and physicians, and we called the name of the panel "Wealth and Health: How to Be an Active Participant"?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, I got that on camera. All right, cool.
I like how you're so good at coming up with names for things.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Listen, we got to do one, because I heard what you said. I know what we're doing. It makes sense to combine it. This is live collaboration.
It is live collaboration. And I'm just so inspired by your story and everything you're doing. I really am. And that's why I really wanted to have this talk with you, because I think when someone in your position is creating things like this, people pay attention, and you're using that stature to educate more people and to inspire others, and that's awesome.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you for having me. I will say that this has been fun. The whole experience.
The whole experience. Even the mics.
Yes, it's been fun.